Okay, and we're ready to begin. Thank you.
Right, good morning. Thank you, everybody, for coming. My name is Peter Hunter, Councillor Peter Hunter. I'll be chairing this panel today. My two colleagues who will be also on the panel are Councillor Gary Coleman and Councillor David O'Hara. I'll just go through everybody else. Also present are Sarah Chadwick, Democratic Governance Advisor, Emma Pritchard from Lancashire Constabulary, Lee Petrak, Licensing Manager, Louise Scales, Child Protection, and Kerry Burrow from Public Health. Also Sharon Davies from Legal Licensing, should I say. We did determine before the meeting that we would allow each party 15 minutes to present the case and 5 minutes summing up. So the procedure will be that, there's also Mr. Sunil Kumar, and I believe there's you've got a friend with you. Could your friend just introduce himself?
Hi, my name is Manmohit Singh, and he's my friend, of course. And I run a premise store on Preston Road.
That's fine. Thank you. Yes. Now, where was that? Yes. So what will happen, Mr. Kumar, is you'll be given 15 minutes to present your case. After which, members of the panel will be allowed to ask you any questions that they have, along with the objectors. After that, each of the objectors will be allowed 15 minutes, and then you yourself will be allowed to question them on their presentations, as will the members of the panel. Once that's all completed, it will be 5 minutes summing up for each party. So the panel will then go into private session. It will not be public, to determine the outcome, whether the licence for 230 Church Street will be granted or not. And you will be informed of the decision of the panel. I think within 7 days, am I right there?
It's 5 working days.
5 working days, yeah. Okay, I think that's all the preliminaries. So we'll start then, Mr. Kumar.
Chair, sorry, can we just do declarations first, please?
Oh, sorry, yes, of course. Have we any declarations of interest? I haven't. Councillor O'Hara, no. Councillor Coleman, no. Okay then. Right, Mr. Kumar, it's over to you if you could present your case for 230 Church Street.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. I'm applied this license A1 beer and wines because before I'm searching here, this is I'm here last 2 years in Blackpool, and this is my own premises, which I'm tied to. I see what kind of the business I can start here, which I think there is a 2 kind of business, one of the takeaway and one of the convenience store with off license. Then first I was take a planning permission to open a takeaway, but due to last year COVID, I got sick couple of weeks. So, and after that, couple of months, I have a very hurt in my shoulder. So I dropped the idea because if I open a takeaway, then everything is depend on me, because I am the chef. I can do on my hand to prepare my food whatsoever, and whatever I hire a staff, it should be a professional. If anything problem on my health, then I can't run any takeaway business like that. That's why I'm decided to go with the convenience store, easy to me, and it's the potential of this is a commercial street. A lot of people on this offices here and traffic to running people. Then I'm thinking a convenience store is better, because if I hire people, then they're just selling the branded stuff, like whatever the company send me in the brand. There's no I no need to be hire any professional people. I can hire any kind. They can serve on the till and under my inspection. So that's why I'm applied for the convenience store application for that one. And without off license, if you open any, then it's not too much potential here, because there's a lot of people going on here. Then if more variety they can come in the store. It's not a very big store, and even I'm not too much depend on like residential people, because so that's why I'm choose this go for this business.
Have you anything else you wish to say, Mr. Kumar, at all?
I just follow the whatever the guidance of the Blackpool Council. I'm always, my personal mentality is like a policeman, not like a other man. I haven't any. I don't want to do anything in wrong activity. So in my life ever. So that's why I'm very caring about that. I am happy to, because I already spoke with a couple of companies. They said, if you get the license, come with us. We take over your shop like a franchisee, like a one-stop premier. They can, if you get a license, then come to us. Then we can sort it out. And even I can reduce if I have any problem, so I can open to reduce my hours. If you allow me, you open 10 o'clock, shut down 8 o'clock or 6 o'clock, I don't mind it. Whatever you time frame, I'm flexible with the time frame.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Kumar. Before I ask my two colleagues on the panel if they have any questions, could I just pose one question to you, though? And it's this: you do realise that 230 Church Street is in what we call a cumulative impact area, sometimes called a saturation area, and that it really is upon you to demonstrate that the granting of this application would not lead to an increase in the impact of off-licence sales in that area, problems associated with sales of alcohol in that area. Have you any particular comment regarding that?
Right. So before even starting, even thinking of this idea, I helped my friend discussing. We did a small risk assessment, like how the customers will be and what community we target in here. So basically, we're gonna be focusing on mainly passing trade rather than residential trade. And we're hoping to get people like, say, for example, there's no much, like I read the report and they mentioned that the people are here, the mainly people renting for short terms in this area. So that's why we mainly focusing on the passing trade rather than residential. And
there is the more potential on the small store, because due to in the COVID time, people are trying to avoid due to COVID, go to the super stores, big stores. They prefer to small store. They're less customer. They go come serve with a one by one. So that's why.
Okay, thank you. Councillor O'Hara, have you any questions of the applicant?
Just a short one, which is regard his presentation, is the training of staff. He said that because of his situation, he wouldn't, if he wasn't there, he'd be able to run. But I think the training of staff is one of the most important parts of running an off license.
Yes, we train the proper staff. We try to be like mature people. You want to reply?
Yeah, so for example, with training the staff, like I run a shop and I have experience with training the staff. So obviously we're going to employ the Challenge 25 policy in the shop. So anyone look under 20 up to 25, we can't sell alcohol or tobacco products to them. So in respect of training the staff, checking their IDs and employing and putting the Challenge 25 policy in the shop, that would be mandatory.
No ID, no sale even.
If I could just say though, Mr. Kumar, I mean, it's Councillor O'Hara's question. You have said that the premises will be well run, but you do appreciate that that is something that we could not really take account of in considering whether to rebut the presumption of refusal, which is the situation as it stands, given that it's a cumulative impact area. Have you any further questions, Councillor O'Hara? No. Councillor Coleman, have you any questions?
Yeah, thank you very much, Chair. Good morning, Mr. Kumar. Good morning. What sort of percentage figure are you looking at to gain from alcohol sales within the store as a whole? Do you have a figure that you'll be working towards?
It's not at the moment particular, but we are not preferred to the all of the alcohol. We are just is a part of the convenience store.
Mhm.
So it's because once you start any business, you don't know what kind of the customer comes into your store. Whatever is your sale, you time to time you can increase if there is any potential. They depend on the demand and supply. So at this moment, I'm just putting a very small shelf in the corner, which is just very few, but because I don't want to put the whole store in the like alcohol too many. No, I'm just putting just very little variety, very few quantities.
Sure. Okay, so basically you're saying to us that the store will be viable without alcohol sales. The store will still be viable for you to operate.
But it's hard to without alcohol. There is no people are not coming. They with the alcohol is sport. They buy the other things as well sometimes, and they know.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not specific, like not like all of the full of the alcohol and beer, wine, something like that. But I just small quantity, and they increase the other stuff as well. If they come for the alcohol, or they buy the other stuff as well. That's is in my mind.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. And just one final question, if I may. When you took on the store, were you aware that it was in a cumulative impact zone? So you took that into account, probably on the proviso that if you couldn't have alcohol sales, then you would still be a viable business. I take it you took all that into account anyway. Is that correct?
Yes, we did take into account that if we don't get the alcohol license, then we can still open a convenience store, but it would be much better because next to the shop there's a convenience store and they don't have the license.
That's why.
And we see people complaining about that, like they should have a license, because it helps to grow your sales. We don't really depend on alcohol to drive our business, but it allows the customers to step into the store.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. Okay, yeah, thank you very much, gentlemen, and thank you, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, Mr. Petrak, have you any questions of the applicant?
I do, thank you, Chair. Morning, Mr. Kumar. Is it? Sorry, I didn't catch. Is it Mohammed, your friend?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a couple of questions. Just following on from the question that you answered for Councillor Coleman. Are you saying that if you don't get a license, the shop will still open? Then are we saying that?
No, we will drop the idea for convenience store then, because
right, so if there's no license, the shop won't. The business idea won't go ahead.
Won't go ahead because next door shop is a convenience store without a license.
Yeah,
that's why we saw some potential here.
Okay,
that we can compete.
No, thank you for clearing that up. Who would be running the shop day to day if you did get a license?
Me and staff.
Okay.
Trained staff.
Okay. Mohammed, did you say you've got premises elsewhere? Are you just assisting this morning? So you wouldn't be involved in running this shop?
I wouldn't be involved. No,
but
I'll be helping them out.
They help, they already spoke with the local booker here. The manager said if he get the license, then we make it like premier shop. But that's why he helped me.
Okay.
I'm just helping my friend to introduce.
Yeah, sure. Okay. I understand. I need to be completely clear on it. That's all.
Yeah.
Just a couple more questions. Have you, Mr. Kumar, any experience in licensed premises?
Because a lot of my families and friends, they all have a off license. I can work. I used to have experience to help them, but I'm not running on my name anywhere. This is my first store in my own name, but I know how to do it.
Okay, so you've worked in licensed premises, but you've not run them before?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Just one last question. You've mentioned that this is going to be a convenience store. I take it, are we talking about a general convenience store, nothing particularly exceptional about it?
We had a meeting with bookers. We had a meeting with managers there. So either we'll be putting shop locally or premise store club here, if we get the license. That's the only way we can put the club.
Your company are happy. If any one company can come to your shop, they give to your take over your premises. They help you to how to. They use our own brand name. But first, if we have that's why I'm flexible. I'm not stick with. I use my name. I can change my name. I can use.
But essentially, it's just going to be it's another convenience store. There's nothing particularly special about it. It's just another type of convenience store with off sales if you get the license. That's the idea, is it?
That's the idea, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, thank you, Mr. Kumar. I've nothing else to ask, Chair.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Over to Emma Pritchard of Lancashire, please. Have you any questions at all of the applicant?
Good morning. No, Lee stole all my questions, so I've got no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you for that. The next one in order, Ms. Burrows, Public Health. Have you any questions of the applicant?
Morning. No questions from Public Health. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And finally, Ms. Scales of Child Protection. Have you any questions of the applicant?
Morning. I just wanted to clarify. I know Lee Patrick's already covered this, but can you just confirm, Mr. Kumar, it is just a general convenience store? It's not anything specialist, or you're not selling any specialist alcohol in your premises?
No, I'm not any. It's just a convenience store. I'm not any specific. And always as I already told you, my think is like policeman, not in the other one. Whatever my council guidance me, I'm not do anything on my own. I'm do whatever the law says me under the law, whatever the guidance of the council, I'm always keeping follow that. It's not any specific alcohol which is any harmful. No, I don't want to be do like that.
Okay, thank you.
Right, thank you for that. We'll now move back on to licensing. Mr. Petrak, would you like to present your objections?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Chair. There's nothing particularly remarkable about my objections here. It's not as if I'm going into great detail in terms of different circumstances as to why the objection has been made, and it's certainly not intended as a reflection on Mr. Kumar. The reason for the objection is purely because of the existence of our licensing policy and the associated cumulative impact assessment document, which, as you've already pointed out, Chair, creates a rebuttable presumption that rather than the starting point being a licence should be issued, that's reversed in terms of a licence should not be issued unless the applicant can demonstrate that by granting the licence, it won't add to that impact that's already being experienced in this area. Just looking at the application, it of course is for the supply of alcohol by way of off sales between 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. Monday to Sunday. As we've heard, and as per the application, the intended use of the store is as a typical convenience store with alcohol, tobacco, soft drinks, confectionery, snacks, fresh food, dairy foods and household items and the like. So on the face of it, there is nothing particularly exceptional about the application at all, which of course, had there been so, then that might have been a reason for the committee to divert from the policy. So I think that route of diversion is probably off the table as far as the committee are concerned. In terms of the geographical layouts as to where it's proposed the business will be or will operate from, there are some other licensed premises, off-licensed premises that operate in that area. We have one stop on Corn Street, which is about 350 metres away. That's licensed for off sales between 8 a.m. and 11 p.m. Monday to Sunday. We have Premier Express, which is 350 metres away on Cookson Street, which is again licensed for off sales between 7 AM and midnight, Monday to Sunday. And 250 metres away, we have the Rakes Mini Market, which is licensed for off sales weekdays 8 AM to 11 PM and Sundays 10 AM to 10:30. So that picture of cumulative impact is built up quite easily. You can look at, if you look at that information and look at the information I've supplied as part of my representations, which of course comes directly from our own policy. Some interesting statistics there about, particularly about Talbot Ward being an area where there are 20, we say there are 23 off licenses in that area, 12.8% of them off licensed premises, which is 12.8% of the entire number of off licensed premises in Blackpool. So it does have a saturation of those types of premises in that area, and therefore we shouldn't be surprised that we have alcohol related problems in that area. So I'm not going to preach chapter and verse in relation to the policy considerations because they're already set out in the reports, and I'm sure your councillors are all too familiar with those anyway. So those are the representations that I propose to offer to the committee this morning, and I presume Mr. Committee and Mr. Coomer will probably have some questions for me. Thank you, Chair.
Does the panel have any questions of Mr. Petrak? No. Mr. Kumar, have you any questions of Mr. Petrak?
No, sir. No question.
Okay, so thank you. Thank you, Mr. Petrak. Over to Emma Pritchard of Lancashire Police. Could you state your objections, please?
Good morning. So yes, I'm Emma Pritchard from the licensing department in Lancashire Constabulary. So I base this representation is in Talbot Ward. Obviously, as we all know, it sits in the cumulative impact area. Blackpool has the highest number of alcohol-related incidents reported to Lancashire Police, and we are concerned that by granting another premises licence to sell alcohol off the premises, this will only increase alcohol availability and therefore lead to even more incidents of crime and disorder. As already referred to by Mr. Petrak, there's already 5 off licenses within a 5-minute walk of this premises. It's also located directly opposite from the Salvation Army, which caters for homeless and vulnerable adults, many of which are struggling or have had or dealing with alcohol dependency issues. Within the area of 230 Church Street, we do get a large number of calls to the police for crime and disorder, a lot of which are alcohol related. So we just feel that this is only going to add to the crime and disorder problems of the area, and that's what our objection is based on. If there's any questions.
Thank you very much for that. Yeah. Have the panel any questions? No. Mr. Kumar, have you any questions?
No, sir. No question.
No. Okay. Thank you. Right. Well, it's over to Ms. Burrows to state the objection from Public Health.
Thank you. Apologies for keeping my camera off. I am lagging a little bit of IT connection, so sorry about that. So from Public Health perspective, we've got no other data or stats to add to the original objection that we've put in. We feel we've got justifiable concerns that if an alcohol licence is granted to these premises, it increase the availability of alcohol in an area which is already experiencing significant levels of alcohol-related harm. The premise is situated in a ward that has one of the highest numbers of off-licence premises in the whole of Blackpool. We believe the applicant hasn't taken the wider challenging factors of the area into consideration within their application. We're aware of the problem of street drinking within the locality in which the premise is located, and these problems have a negative impact on public safety and the health and well-being of the local community. It's difficult from our perspective to see how the granting of this application would not add to the cumulative impacts already experienced in the area. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Do the panel have any questions? Mr. Kumar, have you any questions of Ms. Burrow? No.
No, there's no question. It's just my request if they can, if I get a license, I understand everything, situation. I try to be my best on how can I control everything, keep contact with them, follow the council and keep.
Okay, but no specific questions, no. Okay. Yeah. Right, over to Ms. Scales to present the case from Child Protection.
Hello, I've not a lot to add really. I think everyone's covered all the points. Just to reiterate, it is in the Talbot ward, which is under the cumulative impact. This area already has the largest concentration of licensed premises in the town, and I don't see how granting yet another license for off sales of alcohol won't add to the existing problems in the area. That's all I've got to say, really.
Okay, thank you, Dan. Thank you. Once again, do the panel have any questions? Mr. Kumar, have you any questions?
No, sir, no any specific.
Okay, thank you. Right, well, that's the initial representation. So it's now over to you, Mr. Kumar. You've 5 minutes to sum up.
Mr. Moore, you can just go right. Yes.
Well, we only started the idea. We saw some potential here. It's good for the community, it's good for the economy, it's good for us as well. Well, we've seen the trend during COVID that people more like to shop in convenience store rather than going to supermarkets. They feel more safe. And as being a owner of the shop, I saw the trend going upwards. So that's all potential we saw here. And basically we're targeting the passing trade rather than residential people. And we're going to employ all the policies in the shop, challenge 25 and everything. So there's no law to be breached in the shop. Well, that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you. Right, going back in the order again, Mr. Petrak, you've got a maximum of 5 minutes to sum up your case.
Thank you, Chair. To be honest, I don't think I need it. I think I've said everything that I need to say. I think if I could sit here and repeat myself, but I don't think that would particularly benefit anybody. So I have nothing else to add, Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Ms. Pritchard, do you wish to sum up for Lancashire, please?
Just again reiterating, it's in the cumulative impact zone. We believe that this, if this application was granted, we would see an increase in crime and disorder in the area.
Thank you, thank you. And Ms. Burrows from Public Health, do you wish to sum up?
Thank you. Yeah, just from us, like you said, it's difficult to see how the granting of this application wouldn't add to problems already experienced in the area. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I apologise, Ms. Burrow? I think on one or two occasions I put an S on the end of your name. I apologise for that.
It's quite all right. It happens all the time.
but it's Ms. Burrow. Ms. Burrow.
Ms. Burrow, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. And finally, Ms. Scales for Child Protection. Would you like to sum up, please?
I don't think I've got really anything else to add, apart from to say again, it's in the cumulative impact area, and I think the granting of it would add to the problems in Talbot ward.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for that. We'll now go into private session to consider the application. I believe that once we've made a decision, you will be informed within 5 working days of that decision. Of course, if the decision was to go against you, would have the rights to appeal, which if that was the case, will be laid out in the letter. But we'll go into private session now to consider the application. Can I say thank you to you all for attending today?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Have a good day.